the host, if you want to, there you go. You're all
Okay.
set.
Very good. So this is a meeting of the City of Gloucester Historic District Commission, January 24th, 2022 via Zoom.
23.
Good point.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
right.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Right. Correction, 2023. And I have a statement that a couple of statements here I have to read. Consistent with the governor's orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation to the greatest extent possible. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time. This meeting is recorded by video and audio in accordance with state open meeting law, consistent with the governor's order suspending certain provisions. Additionally, all votes taken by the Historic District Commission during this and future remote meetings will be by a roll call vote. I don't think this applies, but if you are calling on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you're watching on computer.
David,
Oh, yes.
sorry, I cannot hear you. I hear other people quite well, but I cannot hear you. I don't understand why.
I don't understand why either. I don't know what to do to
Yeah.
improve it.
Well, we'll take it the way
Read
it
my,
is.
as George Bush used to say, read my lips.
Well,
Okay.
we'll manage.
So anyway, if you're watching on a computer or device, there is a raise hand button. You can tap the button to speak. Please use either of these options during oral communications. So that's that. So I will do the roll call vote. Just please respond here. Arlie Pett,
Here.
Rob Chandler,
Here.
Barbara Lambert,
Here,
Carmen Igorga,
Here.
Steve Goodek,
Yes, here.
Bill Remsen.
Here,
Okay, and yours truly, Dave Porter here. And we have video assistance with Dave Fields. Okay. So the first order is an application for 65 Main Street. I think it's 65 and 60. It's
9.
Yeah, 69 as well. Okay, and this is for replacement of a gutter. Anyway, do we have someone to speak for them? I've got listed Mark Nestor as the.
Here.
Okay, you're there. Okay. So Mark Nestor Esquire is the applicant, and would you please tell us what you plan to do?
For the record, my name is Mark Nestor. I'm the attorney for Gloucester Harbor Company, 45 Middle Street, Gloucester, Massachusetts. My clients own the entire block, which is 65, 69, and 55. All they're really seeking to do is the gutter that runs along the top, and I've attached photographs. They're wood gutters which are rotting. And what they would like to do is replace those with white aluminum gutters. And we showed you a picture of one, and we're keeping the downspouts if at all practical. But we just really want to replace the wood gutters, but because it's on the outside, we need to come before the Historic Commission for permission.
Right.
It's two applications because there's it comes across two different buildings. That's the
Right,
reason why.
okay,
there's two applications.
we'll kind of treat it like one. And when we make the recommendation, we could just say number 65, number 69. Any questions from any members?
David, I'm sorry, I didn't receive any documentation, so I'm not quite sure what what's proposed, but it sounds pretty straightforward.
It is exactly what he said.
Yeah.
These are the
Rob?
used to be called the Babson buildings.
Yeah.
And it's just replacing the wood gutter with white aluminum.
So Rob, basically they've got the standard wood 4x5 fir wood gutter
Yeah.
is existing. And they're looking to replace it with a modern aluminum K5 series gutter as a replacement. That's essentially what they're trying to do.
Okay.
That's correct.
And that
We're
will
on the
be,
top of the 3 stories, so it's not really noticeable.
Well, it isn't.
I'll withdraw that comment.
Okay, well, we've been down this road before a little bit, and there is another product available today that wasn't available even a half a dozen years ago. It's a fiberglass gutter, Mark, and it has the exact profile of a fir wood gutter on the exterior. They come in lengths of 40 feet. If you're looking to replace 3 lengths of gutter, they typically come in 10-foot lengths. They can be successfully glued and epoxied together if you have to make a joint or a return. The exterior profile is identical to the wood gutter, and we have approved that type of gutter in the past in this district.
Yeah, saying of the KPM Museum, that's kind of what I was leading up to when I asked that question, Steve, is that
That's correct.
you
That's
know, I think
correct.
we're better off with a profile that matches the original fir, if that's possible. And I think it is, given the product you're describing.
That's correct.
Steve, could I just ask, is the cost significantly higher with the fiberglass than the aluminum?
I would say it's definitely more expensive. I think any product out there that's available for a gutter alternative is more expensive than the K5 option. That's probably the bottom of the lowest rung on the ladder.
Right.
So yes, I would say it is more expensive. How much more expensive, I do not know.
can I add something?
Well, yes,
There's another new product which is called DuraGutter, which is an aluminum, extruded aluminum gutter that also matches the wood profile. And it's a new product. I have not used it, but I have seen pictures and I've read about it. It also allows, they also provide a rake profile that matches the gutter so that you can have your rake trim run right into your gutter, which solves a lot of historic problems. Not in this case for Mark, but it's a very interesting product. It's also, I agree with Steve that the typical, rolled out K profile gutter is a pretty lightweight metal thing. It's pretty cheap. The DuraGutters are heavier gauge metal, which of course means they're probably a little bit more expensive. I do not know what the costs are, but they do come in long lengths, and I think it's something that we should really consider because it does apparently look the same as a typical wood traditional gutter.
that sounds good. These are important buildings. The West End is in the historic district for a reason. So is that something you would consider, Mr. Nestor?
I consider, I know for a while they're trying to get fiberglass gutters, so it's a shortage, and I have no idea what I'm trying to run it now. I know they're more than the aluminum gutters, but I'm not sure how much more at this point. I mean, I'd have no problem looking at that one.
I would guess to say another aluminum option that William is suggesting would probably be in the middle somewhere, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so. And Mark, here's another question for you. What are the actual downspouts made out of?
I think the downspouts, looking at the photographs, I think they're copper.
If they're copper, and you're going to use an aluminum gutter, you would have to have some kind of electrical break, to prevent galvanic reaction between the two dissimilar metals if you were going to use an aluminum gutter. I'm just throwing that out because
Right.
it could come back to haunt you. And the aluminum is the sacrificial metal in that kind of galvanic reaction. And so the new gutter would self-destruct if you didn't isolate it electrically.
Understand. One thing I did look at, apparently the fiberglass gutters are, I want to say $35 a foot that I looked at just quickly. And we're looking at approximately 180 feet. I'm sorry, maybe 90 feet.
And what did you get for your K5?
I haven't had a chance to do the K5 yet.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to.
I'm sorry, Mark, I think the important issue is that it's an historic building. We should be
Yep.
doing our best to match the profile of the existing historic fabric. So I think, and Steve, you mentioned there's precedent for using exactly a gutter type that does match the profile of the existing, and I think we should maintain that precedent in this case.
Yeah.
We can
I think
delay
they make
action.
I think they make one out of aluminum now. It's about time that they have. I mean, it's-
Yeah. This DuraGutter, it's DuraGutter, and they've got a website, and you can call them up and find out what the deals are with them. I really think it's worth looking into.
Can I make a suggestion that we just continue this for the next meeting to give me some
Yes.
time to get some
Sure.
information?
Yes.
Can I ask one other question, which is it may be beyond the scope, but I'm trying to look out for Gloucester. Does this roof that's above the gutters have snow guards? In other words, does the line of the roof, you want to make sure that water runs down the roof and into the gutter, and then you want to make sure that snow doesn't run down and knock the gutter off. So the attachment location of the gutter to the fascia board there is really important, but it might be useful to consider if there are any snow guards, just to prevent the snow from coming down and hitting pedestrians.
I'm familiar with the building for the last couple of years because my office is one block up and I can almost look down from my office and see it. And I don't recall any issue during the last couple of years of snowstorms of that happening. But again, that's an informal observation.
looks like Bill, that from the photograph that I'm looking at, looks like there's some sort of attached bracket beneath the wood gutter that's supporting the gutter currently.
Yes.
That's what it looks like to me. So they'd have to obviously either change that bracket or adapt it to the new either aluminum or fiberglass gutter that we're proposing.
The DuraGutter actually it has a component that you attach to the junction of the roof plane and the eave or the fascia board there to prevent any potential leaks in that area. In other words, it's a whole system. Anyway, I'll stop flogging it. There's nothing in it for me, but it just looks like a nice product.
I presume it'd have to come through the back before this board, even if I switch to fiberglass.
Yeah, we would need to know exactly what you were going to do to approve it. I mean, I think a continuance is probably the best way to go, and that will give you time to consider these other options that have been presented. And as soon as you're ready, you just let community development know, and we'll have another meeting and take care of it for you.
That's fine. Then I just make a motion to continue it.
Okay, I think one of us needs to do that.
I'll make a request to the board.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Okay, so it's been moved by Arlie and seconded by
I'll second.
Yeah.
Okay, by Bill, to continue the request for certificate of appropriateness for 65 Main Street.
Can I ask when your next scheduled meeting hearing is?
Oh, we'll do it for you.
Oh,
Right, that's how we do it. We used to meet the second Tuesday of the month, but that didn't always work for people. So now if we're available, particularly on Zoom, it's easy. So you let them know when you're ready and I will, and the secretary will set it up for us.
that's fine.
Actually, yeah.
Thank you, members of the board.
Yeah, good. Okay, so that's how we'll do it. So
Okay.
we have a motion for continuance. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? I don't-
You have to do roll call?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Thank you, Arling. I'm gonna get fired. Okay, so here we go. Roll call vote for approval of continuance. Arlie,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Carmine,
Yes,
okay, Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
and yours truly, yes. Okay, so we have a unanimous vote to continue. So, Mr. Nestor, you understand that you simply, when you're ready, you let community development know, and we'll have a meeting as soon as we're able to.
I presume that's fine. I'm all set. I will get back to you as soon as I get some research done.
Great, okay,
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
Much.
Okay, now, second is an application from the Sawyer Library. Do we have somebody representing the library? Maybe not.
Hi there.
Yes,
Hi, yeah, I'm actually the contractor applying for the permit.
oh, okay.
And you are?
I'm Brendan Murray from Murray Masonry and More Corporation.
Okay. Well, why don't you just kind of tell us what you're up to and,
Sure, yeah, so
Okay.
this is a, and Jeannie Farrow is also here from my office. She's my project coordinator. And just want to say thank you for taking the time to meet with us tonight. And so we were hired by Sawyer Library. They received a CPA grant to do some restoration work, and it's all structural in nature. So part of the project is facing the outside there, which is why we're here. And that requires us to replace about 30 linear feet of the sill, which is rotted out, and that's the connection between the foundation and the building. And in order to do that, we need to take off about 2 feet of the siding. And our intention is to replace with white oak that missing rotted sill there, and then replace the siding. And we believe that we can actually just reuse all of the existing siding. It doesn't seem to be in terrible shape. So really no alterations, no changes, simply just fixing what's there and putting it back.
Okay. Any questions from any of the members?
I
Bill?
have questions. I'm sorry, what was your name from Brendan Masonry?
No
Brendan.
problem. Yep, my name's Brendan Murray,
Brendan.
and I'm the
Okay,
owner
you're
of
Brendan.
Murray.
Okay. We
Murray.
may have met. I have been in the past on the Saunders House Committee. And
Oh, sure.
And so I have looked very, very carefully at
Hmm.
this problem. I actually brought it to the attention of the library about 3 or 4 years ago. And so it is, obviously it needs to be done. The only questions I have are, what are you going to do about, what kind of damp proof course are you going to have between the masonry and your new white oak sill?
That's a very good question. I have to pull up, there's plans for all of this. Sorry, I should have had this open sooner. One moment here. I know that they're calling out for us to apply a treatment to the sill, and just give me 1 second here. I can pull up the plans and have a better sense of what I'm talking about. The plans were drawn up here between Structure North, John Watney, and Spencer Preservation. So let me see. Just looking for some details here. Here we go. Sorry, there's several sets of plans here. So, normally what we put in some ice and water shield, but I'm not sure if that's what they're recommending in this situation. I just don't want to speak out of turn.
So you've got multiple issues. One is the water isolation membrane or whatever, and also the how you're going to air seal the actual joints between the new wood and the old wood that's above it, and also the between the oak and the masonry, if you follow what I'm saying there.
Yes. 1 moment. I'm just looking at these plans real quick here. So let me see. Different set of drawings here. I was looking at the masonry drawings. Okay, so I have the drawings here now, and it's only called out to utilize boric acid to treat the wood. It's not specified anything in particular. I'd have to go back to this with this to the engineer, the architect on the project. Essentially, what it's saying here is to do a half lap on the sill joints and coat them with the boric acid. I'm not sure that they called out for anything else besides the boric acid. The reason why, because so we were actually having a bit of trouble sourcing the white oak, and I went back to the engineer on it, and they said the reason why they're calling for the white oak is because it has excellent rot resistance.
Yeah.
And I know that's obviously a concern that we don't want to do this work and have it repaired and have it reoccur. But I'm not seeing that they're calling out for anything in addition to that. And I unfortunately didn't think to have the engineer here to help answer some of these questions. So.
Well, if I were specifying it, I would specify a damp-proof membrane, because having worked on many historic houses going back into the 18th and even 17th centuries, you know, you need every bit of help you can, because that building, which has already been here for, you know, several hundred years, is if you don't have a damp-proof course, it's going to rot. Maybe it'll rot later, but I think for a very small amount of money, it's worth adding a damp-proof course.
Oh, absolutely.
And also an air barrier, some kind of sill seal that actually seals the joints between the old and the new. What about the actual masonry? Once you support the building and take out the sills, you're probably going to have to repoint or partially rebuild some of the masonry, yes?
There is some of that, yes, but it's all on the inside of the building. There's a little bit called out for just at the penetrations at the windows. It looks like just the jams in a couple of locations, but that's very, very minimal. So that is a component, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one other exterior thing is the unbelievably aggressive English ivy that's growing on that wall.
Mm.
Has that been specified to be removed from the masonry?
It has not, no. It has not.
I asked them to do that about 5 years ago.
Mm.
That ivy is so aggressive, it's literally growing through the wall.
I'm not
and
surprised, yeah.
The library would benefit immensely from cutting that back.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Well, I imagine that would be required to access the area, certainly where we're working for sure. So that does make sense.
In terms of the
First
appearance,
of all, yeah.
it's essentially going to return to this current state.
Oh, yes, yeah, certainly. There's no alterations intended here, so.
Yeah.
We would, for all intents and purposes, be exactly what you see now, just with a solid sill beneath.
I have one other question. The front parlor that's above part of this sill, the one that's on Dale Avenue, and has quite a bit of distortion in the paneling where it has subsided as the sill has compressed. And I was wondering what extra efforts and cautions you're going to take as you may have to jack up the floor a little bit to get it back to where it's supposed to be. And what are you going to do about looking at this paneling, which may have shifted and distorted a bit over the years?
I'm glad you asked that question because it is part of the scope of work that we will be removing one of those panels to have the engineer come and inspect what's going on behind it in order to advise on what will be required. But yeah, those panels are, I mean, I could pretty much pull those off with my fingers if I wanted to. So that certainly is a concern. And we plan to address that prior to doing anything with the actual sill of the building.
We're straying out, Bill, we're actually straying outside of our.
Okay, sorry. I
I
care a lot
it's
about
fine.
sound
No,
effects.
I allowed it because I thought, it was worth saying. But, we really don't have any business with the inside. We don't have any authority on the inside. Okay, any other questions from any members?
Well, I do suggest that we actually find out what they're going to do with a little more detail here.
Okay, so would you like to have a continuance here as well?
Well, I recommend that they submit to us a detailed cross-section showing exactly what's going to happen and calling out the various components, particularly a damp-proof course and some air sealing.
So I believe that if I'm not mistaken, the cross-section was submitted. We can certainly go back to the engineer and get some more details, but as far as I understand, this is what we have submitted that information.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me like we really need to hear more, and I really think we need to continue this. And believe me, once you're ready, we'll take it up right away. We don't want to delay you, but I think it needs to be done right.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that the reason why the engineer, I'm sure, called it out in the way that he did is because he's trying not to introduce modern means and methods or materials. For instance, we're advised to use you know, of course, there will be some involved, but for the most part, we're utilizing existing, you know, hand-hewn beam timbers here, and the same process, you know, 1-inch diameter white oak pins, for instance, instead of screws, and things like that, although he's called out both. So I can imagine, and you know, knowing his reasoning, again, we were having trouble finding the white oak, and we went back with a couple of alternative potential options to the engineer, and he's sticking to his guns on the white oak because of its rot resistance and resistance to insects and things like that. So, and coupled with the boric acid, that's what he came back with to me anyway. So I can imagine, I don't know if he'll have much more to add to this, but we'll ask. We can certainly ask.
Even from the 18th century, it probably was sawn, not hand hewn at that date. I would.
Bill, I wonder if we're getting into areas that are not our domain. I mean, I'm sure that, you know, I don't want to delay
we have
work
to stick with
process.
the outside.
Okay.
And I'm sure there, you know, and I agree, damp proofing is probably a good idea. And we could even specify that they research that prior to proceeding, but I just feel uncomfortable delaying a project over issues that are beyond our specific purview.
Well, I think that's a point, that's a point well taken, Rob.
Even though, Bill, I think you're right, damp proofing and air sealing is a good idea. It's just,
Sure.
I don't know if it's for us to make that a legal requirement of their work process.
Okay, I tend to agree. Any other members have a feeling on that? Otherwise, we could call for a vote on the.
If I may just say one more thing, we, you know, we're located in Salem, Massachusetts, and we've worked on thousands of historical properties and CPA funded projects, and done some even there, you know, several in Gloucester. And we work on museums and landmarks and things of that nature all the time. And I can tell you that we're certainly not going to do anything that would compromise the integrity of the building. We're certainly all in alignment with that. So I will absolutely bring this back to the engineer, and we will certainly do whatever is required for damp proofing and the sealing of sill, and we'll certainly bring up removing the ivy as well as a concern, and I'm sure they'll agree with that as well. So just want to put you all at ease that we're not, you know, we're not here to ruffle any feathers or cause any issues unnecessarily. We're all like-minded folks here.
Okay, so the question is, I can entertain a motion to approve the request to replace the white oak beam, or replace the wood beam with white oak, and whatever siding needs to be replaced in the process. Or if you want, we can continue it if you really want to hear more.
I guess I would move that we approve it with the request that they investigate these issues you've raised, Bill, as they prior to proceeding with the work, and that will allow them to find the best solution, but still not delay the work that is probably crucial to the building.
Okay, well, let's do that then. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Steve, thank you. All right, so we have a motion to approve let's see, replacing the about 30 feet of wood beam with white oak, and some siding would need to be removed and then replaced. And
David, weren't we talking about replacing the siding with the material they remove as part of the operation? In other words, restoring the extant siding.
well, yeah, I mean, I guess it could, yeah, we could just say well, I would just not bring the siding into it if the same
Fine.
material is going to be used.
Okay. Yep.
All right, so then let's just say that we're voting to approve the replacement of a 30-foot, roughly 30-foot wood beam with white oak. And let it, and then we'll hear about whatever else is going to happen. You could just let us know about whatever else is going to happen, but we're only going to vote on this, okay, on the beam. Does that work for everyone? Yes, okay. So here we go. Arlie Pet,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Barbara,
Must I abstain because I'm on the Saunders House board?
that's a good idea, yes.
Okay,
Abstain. Okay, Carmine,
Hi.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
and yours truly, yes. Okay, well, that will take care of that.
Thank you.
And I think that's covers everything. But before we adjourn, I would like to ask for a moment of silence in memory of our dear friend, Prue Fish, who passed away recently and was such a tremendous force in historic preservation and a great asset to this board as well. So let's just take a moment for that, please. Thank you. May she rest in peace. Is there anything else that anyone wants to bring up?
Did you send a letter to the family, to her son? Just thanking her,
I haven't
thanking
done
her.
that, but I could. I'll
Yeah.
need to get an address, but maybe
Right.
Barbara might have an.
I,
Yeah,
I have his address. I can send it to you, David.
Okay, all right, fine. If you do that, I'll be happy.
You know,
to send it.
something in behalf of,
The
all of
commission.
us,
Okay,
thanking her for her service and
you bet.
her loss.
Yeah, that's a
many
great,
contributions.
great idea, Ollie. All right. Let me write that here. Okay, letter. All right, and I'll, once I get that from you, Bill, and I'll send a copy to everyone. About that. Good. Okay, anything else? Otherwise, I can declare, yeah, I think we've covered everything. I forgot about minutes from the last meeting. Let's let that go till next meeting. All right, so would somebody like to,
Motion to adjourn.
thank you.
Second,
Second, all right, great. Those in favor? Oh, I have to, this roll call is gonna drive me. All right, roll call. Ali, yes.
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
yes. Barbara,
Yes.
yes. Carmine,
Yes.
yes. Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
yes.
and yours truly, yes. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, good
Thanks.
night now.